Glorious day to you, my friends. Kia ora ta'ana haska ihita ratahita. Happy full moon. Utaria chanata katar titikaria tahara. Apologies for the wind. Niarata atakarishkanani ratata. Today's broadcast is sponsored by the numbers 95859. Inspired by Nitukurutu Ura Hanata Karieta Arahatata. First of all, happy full moon. When we celebrate the cycles of the moon, we're celebrating the cycles of life, the cycles of breath. The cycles of the month, the cycles of the year, the cycles of life and death and rebirth. Nira. I'm here at Cobbs Hill Park. I did want to get some light codes up by the reservoir, but the wind was making it near impossible to record there. Nitora anahakatita karata atitahara. The cycles. I originally wanted to talk about the mala of joy and the cycles of creativity, but the numbers that they're talking about, well, we can get some light codes in here. We just can't get reflective light codes. Nitora anahakata arhaya arhana aska ehe takarta ataharhatita shonononoro okaha niri atahana ea atukuhurata anahake. So, nine represents endings and beginnings. And in tarot, 9 is the Hierophant, the hermit. Going within, the wisdom within, the hermit has his own light, has their own light. Just because the hermit's an old man doesn't mean that it's only male. But when we go inwards, intently, there's wisdom inside. And then we go to 5, change, human, the 5 elements of this physicality. The 5 koshas. But it's also the Hierophant in tarot. Represents a spiritual leader, but it also represents spiritual wisdom. So that with the hermit going within for the spiritual wisdom of 8. So, what's 8? Besides abundance and strength. It is strength in tarot. Courage. The strength to live from the heart. The strength to be your true authentic self. But what originally triggered this was 8 being the 8 petals of Hrit, the real heart chakra. Some call it the lower heart chakra. Some call it the higher heart chakra. It's our true authentic self. It's the bliss of who we really are. So maybe the title of this video will be The Wisdom of Bliss, or The Inner Wisdom of Bliss. And the koshas, yogic ideas of there's 5 layers of who we are. On the outside, we have our Annamaya kosha. Anna meaning food, sustenance. This 3D world, how it sustains us, how we have agreed to the conditions of this 3D realm. But they don't have to be our limitations. I like to think of the koshas as layers of clothing of who we really are. When we take off the overcoat of the Annamaya kosha, we have the Pranamaya kosha. This layer of us, this breath, this prana, this life force, energy. Where this life force sustains us. Sustains us. And then the next layer, after we take off this piece of clothing of the Pranamaya kosha, we have the Manomaya kosha, this layer of the mind. Our decision-making process. This mind. The functions of the mind. The functions of the human mind, and then the spiritual mind, the heart mind. And when we ascend into the heart mind, beyond the conditions and limitations of this physical world, then what becomes available to us is all the information and all the wisdom that is out there, that has ever been. Because we start to access all that is in all the possible ways in this Vijnanamaya kosha. Whether we call it wisdom, whether we call it knowledge, whether we call it possibilities, we become more of our creator self. And then when we take off this Vijnanamaya kosha, this quest for knowledge, it reveals our true nature. This Anandamaya kosha. Our true nature. Our inherent bliss. With that, the possibility that we can see through the eyes of bliss, see through the eyes of our inner being, experience life through the senses of our inner being, which is way more than 5 senses. The inner wisdom of bliss cracking that cosmic egg, allowing our bliss to be free, allowing our true authentic self to be free. To leave the limitations of our eggshell of who we think we are and let our inner being create and play in life like an innocent child. And a hawk just screeched with the hawk wisdom. So we'll close it out there. And another screech. 11:11. Just be you. Be the blissful, joyous you that you already are. When we forget about who we were programmed to be by ourselves and everyone else, and when we simply allow our bliss to live through us, our inner being to truly live, then life is truly abundant, fulfilling, easy, joyful, and satisfying. Siknatar itoro ura hasana eka artahana atahetara.